Welcome back. We are now in the data menu, which is the next menu over. And to demonstrate what happens in the data menu, we're going to go to a new sheet by clicking on sheet 3 here at the bottom. And the first panel is where we have options on how we get the data. So for example, if we use this drop-down menu that says Get Data, we can pull data inside our spreadsheet from a file. We can do it from a database or from analysis services. We can pull data from online services, and at this point, Excel connects to Facebook. We can pull data from other sources. Again, now you'll need to set these up ahead of time, but for example, we can pull data from the web. We can get data from a text or CSV file by clicking this link. Now there is a little redundancy here by having this menu in the bar. It's also in the Get Data area. Now if we have another set of data that we have named in another spreadsheet or another worksheet, we can get that data from this area. And what we would need to do is we would need to determine the address for that data and place it here. So for example, if we were to pull in data from a text file, what we would do is to go to this menu. We would then click From Text or CSV. Excel will give you a glimpse of what you're about to transform into Excel, and you'll then click Load. You'll then see your data imported into Microsoft Excel. Now, in the next video, we'll take a look at the sorting and filtering capabilities of the data section, as well as some of the data tools. We're now going to look at other parts of the data menu. In particular, we're going to look at the sort and filter commands and the data tools. Now, the sort command is another very widely used function of Excel, and basically allows us to sort any column of data. So for example, we can take this set of numbers, we can click the sort command, and what we can do is we can decide that we want to sort that column on the basis of the cell values, and then we want to sort it on the basis of smallest to largest. You're going to notice then that all of the values appear in numerical order. We can do this across multiple sets of data. So for example, we can go across 3 sets of data. We can then click the sort command, and then we can sort by a specific column. We can sort by column C. We can then sort on the basis of largest to smallest, then click OK. You'll see then all of the data is going to arrange according to this column. We can also sort text columns. So for example, we can sort this data, click Sort. We can determine that we want this data to appear in A to Z order. And you'll see then that the data will realign. We can also set filters across our data. So for example, what we can do is we can click the filter button. You'll see then that we have drop-down arrows on each column. We can then take that drop-down arrow and then we can rearrange it, largest to smallest. And we also have data tools inside of this panel. So for example, one thing we can do is we can remove duplicates from our data. So where we have some duplicate names, we can take this selection. We can click this button that says Remove Duplicates. We'll specify the column. You'll notice then that we have duplicate items removed. Now once you understand these basic features, you can then use some of the other tools in order to provide analysis, such as what-if analysis. We can provide a forecast based on a set of data, and we can arrange our data either by grouping or by consolidating. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're working inside of the Review menu, and you'll notice that most of these features exist in other Microsoft Word applications. The proofing, accessibility, insights, language, and even the commenting, which allows you to collaborate and work with other people and keep track of the changes that other people are making. Now unique to Excel is going to be your ability to do what's called protecting the workbook. And when you're protecting either the workbook or the sheet, what you're doing is you're keeping others from being able to edit the document or change the data in it. So So for example, what we can do in this case is we're going to click Protect Sheet. What we can also do is make it so that the people we're working with can change some sections of the document. In that case, what we're going to do is we're going to use this area that says Allow Edit Ranges. Now, for example, if we place our cursor inside of this cell, what you're going to notice is that this formula depends on two cells, E10 and D10. So in this case, you'll see that there is an E10 cell, which is E, and then 10, this cell, and then D10. So what we want to do is we want to make it so that E10 can be edited. So we're going to click Allow Edit Ranges, and we're going to determine the exact place where others can make changes. And we're going to call this something specific. And what we can do is we can make it so that the individual that's going to make the change is going to need a password. And then we're going to click OK. We're going to need to re-enter the password. Then we'll click OK. That means then that although this entire sheet is going to be protected and not changeable, this one cell is going to be changeable, and that's going to help us to be able to make changes to the formula that we have. So we're going to click Apply. And then we're going to click OK. So basically now we've made it so that if someone wants to make changes to this file, the only thing they're going to be able to make changes to will be this cell, which will then affect this formula. So again, you can protect your entire workbook or worksheet, and then you can allow individuals to make changes to crucial parts of calculations that you actually want to make. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now your View menu, which is the next menu over, is basically going to show you what your document's going to look like when you're printing, as well as give you some alternatives to viewing your data in real time. So for example, if we want to know what our data is going to look like when we print it, all we'll need to do is to go to our page layout. And this will show us what we'll actually be printing. And we can make our spreadsheet usable in ways that makes it easy for us to work with our data. So for example, let's assume that you have information that's off the screen, but you want to match it up with a column that you already have on the left side. One of the things you can do is you can use the split command. And so what we're going to do is we're going to place our cursor at this point in the column. We're then going to click the split command. We're then going to place our cursor here. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to go all the way over to the right. And then we're not going to have to change this information. We're going to be able to see this data versus the column that we have all the way on the left side. Now to take the split off, all we have to do is click the split button. We can do the very same thing with rows. So we can place our cursor inside of the row. We can then click the split command. And then we can work with our data in that way. We can freeze our panes. So for example, one thing we can do is we can take this top column. We can then go to freeze panes, and then we can freeze the top row. And then what we can do is we can then scroll all the way to the bottom. What this allows us to do is this allows us to see our heading versus the data at the bottom of the very worksheet. And of course, in addition to working with the rows, we can also work with columns. Now, macros will allow us to record repeated activity. So we record a macro, what we're doing is we're recording something that we do over and over again so that we can use that same process automatically if we have to start another spreadsheet and we're going to be doing the very same thing. Now this is a bit of a complex process, but it's one that will make sense as you begin to use Excel more. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now when you want to start a new workbook, one of the things you can do is you can use existing templates inside of Microsoft Excel. So we can click this New button, and you're going to see that Microsoft Excel gives you a certain number of pre-planned templates. There are also templates available online that you have access to. So for example, one of the things you can use Excel for is you can use it for a budget. And so you'll notice here that you have an expense trends budget. You can use this as a starter template by clicking the button, and then clicking Create. And basically what it does is it fills out the information, and then all you need to do is to use the format to fit your particular information. So we can now go back to the File command. We can go back to New. And now we can look for some of the templates that might be available online. You might write in a template that you may be looking for. And you'll notice here that here's a template for a marketing event budget. Here's a marketing project plan, a channel marketing budget. And so basically you can choose any of these templates that might look like something that you'd be interested in using. You'll click Create. In this case, we have some information about the template. We have 3 worksheets. We have the category chart, we have the start, and then we have the actual budget plan. And again, all we need to do is we need to write in where we're going to change the information into something that we're going to want to use. You'll notice here also that there are list templates, and this actually gives you a good idea of some of the other ways that you can use Excel other than using data and manipulating it. For example, some people use Microsoft Excel as a way of creating an invoice. And you'll see that here. And you can also use templates for charts. And these charts are going to have both the data and the images associated with them. And you'll see that here. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.